Well, as Mel said, it's good to be with you this morning and to have the opportunity to share with you. I want to talk to you today about anxiety, as Mel said. I don't know what you're going through at the moment. You may be struggling with this as an issue as we continue to be in lockdown. I know that it is pointless to say to someone who suffers from anxiety to not be anxious. The Bible acknowledges that there will be times when all of us struggle with anxiety. Desiring a life without anxiety is the same as chasing the wind. I have suffered from serious bouts of depression for a number of years, and I know that it's not something which is easy to carry. I've not had a serious episode of depression for almost 10 years now. And despite dealing with anxiety regularly, provided I keep using the help that is there for me, I have been able to remain relatively well. Yet I have had to accept that depression is just part of who I am. And it is probably something that will never be taken away completely. And I have learned to use my experiences of mental health to help me understand the impact that anxiety and depression can have on our lives. Nick Fawcett says that it is often suggested that we should share one another's burdens. He goes on to say that's all very well, and in an ideal world, it would no doubt provide most of the support we could ever have need for. But this isn't an ideal world, and there are problems that we feel unable to share, or that no one can help us with, or that people simply wouldn't want to know about. I imagine we've all been in situations when we felt utterly overwhelmed by the circumstances, when we haven't known where to turn to. Hence the need for organisations such as the Samaritans. Thankfully, we do not depend merely on human support for assistance. We are called to share our concerns with a God who cares and loves us so much. Do that, and though the problems will not magically disappear, we can find a new perspective on them. We can find an inner peace, whatever our trouble. We can find rest for our souls. The Apostle Peter, who went through a number of anxious times since he came to know Jesus, wrote in his first letter, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." The word to cast is only found in one other place in the whole of the New Testament. It is found on Palm Sunday, when we're told that they brought the donkey for Jesus and casting their garments on the colt, they set Jesus on it. The meaning is really quite simple. If you or I are carrying a garment that's become too much of a burden, and we want the animal to carry it for us, then we simply have to cast the garment on the animal, and the burden is carried by that upon which it is cast. Tom Wright says that the verb to cast is a very strong one. Pick up everything that is bothering you, everything that is weighing you down, and fling it, cast it onto God's back. And he will carry it for us. And he will be delighted to share our burden because he loves us so very much. It's amazing that as you read the Bible, God commands us to allow him to work in us before asking us to work for him. Psalm 55 says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you." Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." And so you might say, well, why should I believe this? Friends, the reason we can believe this is because of the second part of the verse that Peter shares with us. We can do this because he, God, cares for us. So how do you cast your anxiety on God? The key is in Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, where it says this: "In everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." If anxiety is a big deal in your life, then focus, work on, put time into your prayer life. Talk to God about it. Cast your anxiety on him. He will help us bear that load. I'm finishing here because I thought it would be good to hear a different voice speaking about this. And in a moment, we will hand over to Patrick Regan from Kinsuki Hope to talk more about this very real issue in what are incredibly difficult times.